Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello, Star Wars fans. You know, there are just 251 days until Christmas 2024. I forgot to turn the Christmas tree lights on. Look at that. I've been busy this morning. Oh, our daughter came in from Kansas City last night. I spent a couple of hours with EBN on their live stream last night. Had a great time hanging out with Coach and Risman, and we had knee pain there for a short time, and then I had to go right at the end when we had the dude's name. You know how it'd be easier way to remember that dude's name? Matt Risman.
Which one?
The guy shooting right in, the DA, right?
Oh yeah, Derek was reporting live from the floor in Tokyo.
Yeah. He came on. I was listening, and then I was like, "Oh no, it's 10 o'clock. I gotta go."
And Nick never did come back off that treadmill. He never did come back.
Would somebody go check on him?
He's okay. I think he's okay. I think he's all right.
Oh my goodness. Well, I had fun hanging out last night, and boy, we got a lot of stuff from Celebration. This 13-hour difference is kind of crazy.
So they say someone's echoing. I wonder if it's you. Is it me? Is it me?
Yeah, I'm hearing my audio come through your speaker.
You're hearing your audio come through my speaker. All right, so then that's weird. Let me grab a set of, what can I do? I can grab a set of headphones, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah, let me do that. Pop me out. I'll grab a set of headphones and I'll come back.
We'll bring you back. All right. Okay. So, hey, hello. I saw we had Skywalker's Academy here right at the very first. We'll come back when Risman comes back and said, "What's your most excited about for Celebration so far?" We'll get Risman's take on that as well. So I'll come back to that, Dale. Thank you for that. Jedi Mike, hello. Oh, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Star Wars Fitz, he's out traveling today, headed out to the western side of Ireland, from what I understand. So good to see you here, Fitz. And let's see, who else do we have? So Jedi Mike, Jedi Fitz, Fitz. Look, Nerd Mafia, you made it. You found the stream. You're here. Good to see you. I still haven't watched the finale to Daredevil. I'll catch it eventually, probably next week sometime. It's gonna be a minute. And then this guy again. You know, what are you gonna do? Oh, he's still audio. I'll just mute. Let's see. There we go. Nope, you're still coming. I'll bring back. Okay. We'll come back. I'll get this figured out. So Matt Risman's with us. Real Ben, hello there. This is an amazing day for Star Wars fans. Finally excited about Star Wars again. Was feeling really down, but most importantly, so happy for your wife. Thank you for that, Ben. Yeah, we had a very good cancer diagnosis yesterday. She's clear of cancer. We don't have that problem anymore. And she has some follow-up stuff, just as normal once you've gone through a cancer surgery. But the prognosis is very, very positive. So thank you for that. Seth Nico, hello. This is a Christmas song. Well, the point of it is, to remember your childhood passions, your love and childhood like wonder for things. Happy Friday, Brett. Good to see you as well. Uh, is feeling the high from these announcements last night. There are some good ones. There's some real good ones. Hitting Santa Echo. Nick, last night's live stream was great. Oh, thank you, Nick. We did have a good time over on EBN. It was a nice visit. Nice visit. Maul. Yeah, we're gonna get to Maul here in a second. Mike Yady. Happy to hear the good news. Thank you for that. Let's see if I get caught up. I think we're about there. Baymax, good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here. And I think we're Nerd Mafia said I missed everything. Fill me in.
How about now?
Sounds great. You are
Awesome.
large and in charge. You're great.
All right, we
Sounds
did it.
Fantastic.
We did it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was doing the same thing with you guys last night. I was echoing, and I never echo. Like I do the streams. I'll have Meg or I'll have somebody else join. I never echo. And then
I have the YouTube open, but not playing. There's many different variables because we were just talking and there was no echo, or
Right.
maybe there was. I don't know. But we'll do this. I can hear you good.
Yep.
There's
Yeah.
no echoing on the stream. We can do it.
Well, as I was sharing with Matt right before we came on, is I have new software, new hardware on the audio stuff. It's a little. I'm in the deep water now, right? They threw me in the deep side of the pool, and I still have some swimming lessons to take. I'm not all the way there, but thanks. We did have a good time. So Dale asked, Skywalker's Academy asked, what are you most excited about from the announcements that came out last night?
What am I most excited about from? I think probably it would be the firefighter movie. I thought that was so funny. The star Ryan Gosling coming out and the Starfighter movie, just because first of all, I'm a fan of Sean Levy. I'm also a fan of Ryan Gosling. And I think, and of course, I don't know what exactly we're going to do, but if they can introduce us to some great new characters, even if it's in post sequels era, post episode 9, whatever it's going to be, it just appealed to me. I haven't been I haven't really been on the hype train yet for Mando and Grogu movie. Maybe that's an understatement. So I don't know. The fact that they actually announced that and that it seems to have some momentum, that kind of excited me.
I have questions, and I saw Meg's review she did overnight of the celebration announcements, and we talked about a little bit last night. I don't get the sense that Starfighter is about Force users, Jedi, lightsabers, and that. Meg says, well, you can hear a lightsaber in the logo when it comes on.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm like, okay. Maybe. And I heard Josh Lucas, Den of Nerds, this morning say he's heard a synopsis of what it's going to be about. It's Ryan Gosling's supposed to be a Force user of sorts, has a kiddo who is Force sensitive and is trying to teach him how to control his powers. And then they still have some more casting to do. Right?
Yeah.
And so if it's a Force user who's trying to, figure things out, it may make me very, very happy, and I would be very hyped. That would mean the likelihood of getting Rey in another movie would be good. It would be improved.
That makes me more excited for the movie. The Rey part, no. The fact that there may be a Force user out there who has a child who's also exhibiting the Force, and they're trying to figure it out together is kind of what it sounds like. That to me is an interesting story. It almost becomes less interesting in a way. Put Rey aside. It becomes less interesting to me in a way if some experienced Force user shows up to show Ryan how to, to show Ryan's character, how to show that, you know what I mean? To me, that takes some of the, I don't know, that takes some of it away, because now we've got the whole, he's a parent, he's trying to do right by his kid, and they got the Force and they're trying to figure all this out. I could get behind that. I don't know what that has to do with the starfighter, unless maybe he
Me
flies a
neither.
maybe he's keeping the force thing to himself and he flies a starfighter and yada yada yada. I don't know.
I'm like, okay, Skywalker, Starfighter. I'm like, I I don't know. Starfighter, X-wing starfighter. Like
Yep.
that has a connotation. It means something. So I don't know. So I'm curious to learn more. I'm excited to learn maybe more of the casting around it. And what is the scope? And you know, you could say Finn is also trying to figure out how to use the Force. He just figured out he's Force sensitive.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know. We just have to see where it goes and from here. For me, what am I most excited about? I really enjoyed the Bando Grogu trailer that you know people have taken from their phones. But
I snipped it out of the live stream because we really got scared after we showed it off. I was like, what if they bring the channel down? So I was like, let me get this
oh yeah,
let me get this out of here really really
yeah,
quick.
yeah, it's
So
not worth it. It's not worth it at all. Yeah. So yeah, I would think that just from those uh that trailer that we saw, it looked the action, right? That trailer was very action focused.
yeah.
Uh and what I hope, like I think everyone, I'm familiar with the plot details. I'm familiar with where this story is going. I know how the movie ends. Like I know a lot about it already from the leaks that have come out and things that I've learned. Um, so I was having a hard time figuring out, okay, this doesn't tie into Luke Skywalker, doesn't tie into Thrawn, it doesn't tie into the larger universe. It's a Mando Grogu adventure
Hmm.
for what? What is he gets a new Razor Crest out of the deal. Great. I'm excited about that. But what else? Like, okay, this is a movie to get him a new Razor Crest. Is that what it is? Like, what's the purpose of it? What are we doing here? Um,
The thing that I like the most about what I saw is it kind of reminded me of some of the things I liked a lot about the first two seasons of Mando. This, again, the father-son dynamic, they're out doing missions, they're out and about, getting into trouble, trying to do their part, taking jobs, and then he of course picks up Grogu, who I guess Kathleen Kennedy had some long dissertation about why she still calls him baby Grogu and a baby Yoda and all this stuff. I don't know. I haven't gotten into that yet, but it did. It kind of reminded me of, okay, we're just going to see Mando and Grogu out and about, doing their thing. No, none of this stuff that we got all sidetracked on in Mando season 3 and some of the rest of it. So I think if they go back to that form for me, maybe it will be a pleasant surprise.
well, and that's the folks who have been leaking things to us, me, Bespin, uh, Jason Ward, like people have been leaking things. They're like, what they're hoping that people do is just get excited about a fun movie. Just that. Like
Mhm.
just if it can just get a fun movie. Think of one of them told me something to the effect of go back to what was that? Deadpool Wolverine. Not moving a plot for anything. They don't really care about any of that. It was just supposed to be a fun movie. And for the most part, people thought that it was a fun movie. If they can get Bando Grogu to be a fun movie that people just enjoy going to watch, you know, then great. If you can take your kids and they'd like to see the action, Mando going through an AT-AT destroying troopers. If that's, you know,
That was epic, by the way.
yeah,
That whole scene that was a one shot, and it was epic.
it
It
is
was
it's
epic.
fantastic. So if you could just get excited about that kind of action, then great. So that made me feel better about the movie because I've been struggling even with everything I know. Be like, well, is this going to help our community? Is this going to help Star Wars fandom as a whole? And I just been struggling, really, really struggling. And I've talked with Jason, and Jason's not at all excited. He's like, I don't
Mm.
see a reason to watch the thing, right? So yeah, you know,
Uh, on your point, can we just go out and watch a fun Star Wars movie and not worry about is it lore breaking and what's happening and what have they ruined and how come they didn't do this? Can we not? Have we lost that ability to go out and enjoy things? And I really don't think we have. I think in our little bubble, it gets magnified to sometimes an overwhelmingly negative degree. I personally think people will come out and see this movie. Do I think it's going to make $2 billion? Heck
Oh,
no.
heck no. No.
No.
No. But if they can make 600 or 700 million, then
100%.
they'll be in great shape. They'll be
Yeah.
in really, really good shape. And then by the time that gets to Disney Plus and they get onto the next movie, as or the Gosling movie or Starfighter, whatever that's going to end up being, hopefully we just have a lot of optimism for a fun movie and not trying to worry about the lore, as you just said, right?
Yeah, my bigger concern, candidly, is between now and then. It's a long time between now and May
Yes.
2026, right? We're talking about a year away. We
Yeah.
know what's coming out the rest of this year. We're going to go through a significant period of time again without any live action Star Wars content, without anything anywhere really keeping people engaged. They're really relying a lot on the fandom sort of hanging on and waiting and hyping themselves in a way
Mhm.
because there's just not going to be any content coming unless Ahsoka season 2 comes early in 2026, which I doubt.
Yeah.
Where, you know what I mean? This mall
Yeah.
thing, unless it comes early in 2026, once we get past May, there will be no Star Wars content.
Well, I'm aware of other things that are ready to go, but they haven't announced them. It was
Mhm.
great that yesterday, the animation panel, that mall thing, that kind of leaked out early. We
Yeah.
weren't sure the full scope of it. I still have some questions about. I haven't been able to see the trailer yet, and
Couldn't find it anywhere either. Isn't it weird?
it's crazy because I mean everything
Yeah.
makes it out, and that hasn't made
Yeah.
it. So I'm dying to see that, and once I get that, then maybe it'll give me a better idea what's getting ready to happen.
Well, and the thing I found interesting about what I read regarding the mall thing is it appears to be happening at the same time as at least part of the Asajj thing is happening in Tales of the Underworld, right there. This is that time period between Clone Wars and Rebels, which is my time period, right? What I like to call the Imperial time frame. My biggest issue with the announcement is, geez, was Maul just feeling left out? He needed to have an Order 66 survivor of his own. He
Oh,
needs to have a Padawan. Is it maybe it's not Order 66 survivor. Maybe it's just a Force user he finds. But I'm like, what was he feeling jealous? Everyone else has got one.
yeah. Well, it looks like maybe they're going to pick up George Lucas's Darth Talon apprentice thing,
Hmm.
which for people who are Lucas purists might get them excited about that.
Oh, they're gonna
And
hate
then
it. They're gonna hate it.
they
You know
always,
they're gonna hate it.
oh yeah, there's no question. But then the other part is, where does it connect to Solo? Uh, there was the reveal at the end of Solo of Maul with the crime syndicate. I've already heard that, and I think Meg put on her Discord this morning. It's supposed to have Kira in it, and that
Mm.
company.
Not a good. Well, so the Crimson Dawn business. If they're going to
Yeah,
play off, I'm an unabashed. I love this. I love the Solo movie. Right. I'm a huge supporter of them continuing that storyline in some way. And so if we're seeing something about the mall and how we got there or whatever, maybe I'll reevaluate. But as of right now, when I was like, and I love Sam Witwer, by the way. You want to give Sam Witwer more work. You want to give the Kiners more work. You want to give all those folks more work. Awesome, right? There's another Inquisitor in it. Okay, we can never have too many Inquisitors, right? I mean, they're leaning into some of their greatest hits, and it just feels. My first reaction was it feels very recycled now. We seem
mhm,
to we seem to center around in animation. We seem to center around some of these same stories told from different perspectives around the same time. and they don't feel very connected. Maybe they're going to change that. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But if you think about it, you know what I mean? They're just all happening at the same time, I guess, in different places.
Yeah, and I had heard of a new animation project, and it had a code name of can I say it? I think I can say it. It had a code name of the Dark Times, right? That's
Nice.
what they were calling it. The
I'm all
Dark.
about it.
And then speculation. What was that? What is the Dark Times? I don't know what that is. And then the thing about Maul came out. I'm like, okay, Dark Times Maul. I reckon that could work. I also thought in my brain as I was just kind of working it out. What if that was between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope? Vader, like peak Vader, the Dark Times. Oh, that would be great. So I had this theory that it might be peak Vader series.
So normally I've usually believed that Dark Times is synonymous with Reign of the Empire. When the Empire was, which is what I think what you just said, right? When the Empire was reigning and at their height, like Andor takes place during the Dark Times. Maybe you would argue towards the end of the Dark Times, but it does, right? When the Empire was exerting its biggest control and it looked the most dire for the galaxy as a whole, we were in the Dark Times, and that's my favorite. Right. And so that's why I say that we are seeing a whole bunch of different kinds of struggles and machinations, I think, happening during that time period, told from different people's perspectives. Not all of those culminate in the rebellion, right? They have their different ways in which they go and where they happen. Some people's cup of tea and some people's not.
Right. And this is so I had when I first heard there's an animated project that's going to be next, you start thinking, what could it be? In the Maul one was my number 3 of the things I had in mind. And I thought initially, well, what if we could get post Return of the Jedi, Luke, Han, Leia? That would be amazing. We get Mark Hamill to do some voice. That would be fantastic. I think the fandom could get really behind that. Then I heard Dark Times. I thought, oh, peak Vader. Oh, that would be great. And then I heard the rumor about Maul, and I thought, well, that's number 3 on my wish list. It turns out that's it. But I'm not as excited about that as I see a lot of people are. I think we keep retreading similar space too much, and the interconnected of these stories. Where does it tie into Solo? Where does it tie into these other? And I don't know yet. So, I'll wait.
Well, and Maul has had a lot of time in animation, right? We have seen a lot, and those arcs are brilliant. I'm not diminishing what we have seen about Maul, but this is kind of what I meant also earlier. Some of this feels to me like Dave Filoni's greatest hits, right? He loves Maul. Sam Witwer loves Maul. He believes the fans love Maul. They've been a little bit gun shy. Let's give them all, right? Maul seems to do, you know, you know what I'm serious. Let's give them all.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why George Lucas brought him back to life, right? Like he killed him in Phantom Menace. Fans were like, that was the best, most coolest ever. And he's like, well, okay. Sew him back together. Give him new legs. And Dave Filoni figured it out. He said, but he's dead. Well, now he's not. Go do it. And it's just like, okay, great. So Maul's back. What are we going to do? And now people love Maul, and rightfully so, I think. It's a great character. The character arc through the Clone Wars, leading up to the final confrontation with Ahsoka, and then into, of course, the Kenobi Maul fight there at the end. Just a great story arc with Maul. But I think, okay, all right, we'll see. We'll see.
It's funny. Nobody ever says like they do about Andor. Why would I watch another Maul series? We know how he dies. We don't. Nobody ever says that, do they? Isn't that interesting?
No, they don't. They don't. And we'll get to Andor here in a little bit. Let me jump into. I've been trying to keep up with the chat, and Nerd Mafia, thank you for the super chat, my friend. The $5 super chat about the Beskar Boner. Look, I remember Beskar Boner.
I do
Uh,
too.
he's since renamed himself. So thank
Yes.
you for that, Nerd Mafia. And let's see. I've been highlighting some chat as we go. I want to get to some of the other announcements, and let me just bring this. Not this. I gotta get rid of that. All right, here we go. So, Light and Magic. Light and Magic released a season 2 today.
Yes.
It's hot off the presses. There's only 3 episodes. Season 1
know.
had 6. 3 episodes. And just looking at the title, the first one's after a decade away, George returns to ILM with a new impossible task. I, I think this is what he's saying. I want to shoot all digital.
Yes.
It was impossible. You can't. What do you mean? You know, you're not going to do it with film. You can't. You have to. So I think that's where that came in. And then episode 2 is George tries to convince Hollywood to go digital. ILM takes on wind, water, and CG. This is you can see Yoda right there.
Oh,
CG
yes.
Yoda. And
Your favorite. I know he's your favorite.
I hate him so much. Well, hate may be a strong term for CGI Yoda.
Yes.
I will say, like I've mentioned this before, in Last Jedi, when the real Yoda came back, we was in the theater, and Yoda comes back, and he's the puppet Yoda. There was cheering in the crowd. Like
Yeah.
the theater cheered. Like, that's the real Yoda. We've been waiting for this guy.
They were also just happy to have a good part of that movie, right? So I
Well,
get it. I get it. Totally get why. Get it. Cheering.
oh my gosh. And then 3, ILM is no longer the only game in town. To stay on top, they'll have to change the game yet again. So I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be about. At some point, they need to get to Stagecraft, the volume,
Yeah.
which it did become a huge game changer in the industry. They kind of outran it, and now it's got to catch up, and they've kind of pulled back. But it is going to open up avenues, and has already opened up so content that we wouldn't get any other way. So ILM, again, just groundbreaking, industry leading. So look forward to watching this series as soon as I can.
Yeah, I was I mean, I'm sure it'll be quality. I just disappointed it was half as long as the first season, because once you start watching this kind of a documentary, I'm like, yeah, I could watch many more hours of this. It's always just so fascinating. It's one of those things where I'll be curious to see how they address, some of the feedback that they received about the CGI and the digitalness of it all, and because people were a little vocal about some of that back in the day, and so how are they going to treat that in this documentary? I will be curious to see.
Nerd Mafia trying to get himself in trouble. Yoda's just a failure altogether. Well, yeah, he's not a failure. He's a liar. That's been well established. He's a lying liar, but going to the failure parts.
Well, no, I think he and Kenobi failed upwards together, right? I mean, between the two of them, they did a pretty good job of screwing it all up. Or you might say they did it exactly the way they were supposed to do, because of the way it all worked out from a certain point of view. But
from a certain point of view, Real Ben, it says here's a news update. It says his co-host Chris, who's at Celebration, said they had a scene from Clone Wars of Boba versus Anakin.
yes,
I had not heard that.
so it was, and Cad Bane was watching. So it was one of these unfinished arcs, and it was It was a, what do they call it? It was a previs or an animatic, and Dave Filoni showed it off, and he said something like, Well, this is as much as you'll ever see on this, maybe. It was kind of that. It was kind of
Okay,
that. We're never gonna finish this. Maybe.
maybe.
In typical Filoni fashion,
Now,
they showed that off apparently.
Nermoff, you're just wrong here. I says if Luke took his advice, would be speaking Empire right now. No, Luke ignoring Yoda's advice was completely inconsequential. His whole trip to Dagobah, to Cloud City, to when we get to Return of the Jedi, Luke did nothing to help anything. Right there, he didn't accomplish anything except learning who his daddy was. That was about it. Um, Everything else happened as it would have happened if he weren't there. He still they still captured Han Solo. Vader walks away unscathed. What? What did Luke actually accomplish there that he did nothing? He met Vader and they had the little fight, he lost his hand, but had he stayed with Yoda and completed his training there, who knows?
Well, and Santa, I think you're obviously ignoring the biggest punk move that Yoda pulled, right? Was on his deathbed. On his deathbed, he wouldn't even confirm that it was he died. He left it to Kenobi's ghost to do it. Right? He couldn't even at the very end, he couldn't even man up. He just punked out and said, "Nah, man, enough, fam. I've done enough. I'm out." Right? And he was gone. Talk about a punk move. Lord have mercy.
I know. I know, Yoda.
Then he comes back and mocks him in The Last Jedi on top of everything else. Luke should have said, "Yeah, I still haven't forgiven you. I still haven't forgiven you for punking me."
You could have told me so many things. And there's, you go back and you think, what? Nobody wanted to tell him he had a sister, Obi-Wan. Like you know, you see the scene in retrospect, right? You look back and you see where Obi-Wan's doing battle with Vader in the Death Star. There, he looks out and he sees Luke and Leia together. It's a heartwarming moment because he gets to see that brother and sister are brought back together. Except when it came out, they weren't brother and sister, and that wasn't part of what he was actually
right, yeah.
going through. But you couldn't have said, "Hey, that's your sister." No.
Mm-mm.
Or help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope, right? And Luke's right there, and he says, "Oh, look at that. That's your sister."
Yeah.
Could have avoided a lot of embarrassment down the road.
Well, and that's why I say Yoda totally avoided the whole Papa conversation, and yet he's spilling the beans on the sister. Boy, talk about talk about prioritizing your last breath. Come on, man. Really?
Yeah. I just you couldn't have brought that up when you saw her on the hologram. Like, oh.
We just had 5 minutes of perfectly healthy conversation, and now,
especially after Kenobi, right? And then you get to New Hope, and he sees, like, "Hey, look, it's your sister. I helped her out a few years ago. Let me tell you the story about when your dad wanted you to have this lightsaber." Lies.
Listen, I'm surprised. I'm surprised Bale didn't show up at the homestead between then and the end and spill the beans, right? I mean, he was telling everybody else about it. Could have told Luke. Jeez Louise.
Oh my goodness. All right. So celebration. I wanted to bring this up.
What is this with the mustache?
Isn't that great?
He looks like a porn star. It's like, what kind of a faction figure is this?
Yeah, he's got the mullet and the 70s stash. Like, gotta love that. Yes. Oh my gosh. So we have Black Series Marin. Marin's a great figure. And Black Series and Vintage Collection get it at the same time. This is something collectors been wondering for the longest time. Like, okay, you're going to give vintage collection a thing, but not black, or black series a thing, and not going to give it to vintage. What's up with that? So here you finally get the both of them released at the same time. The black series, Marin, and then you keep going. Here, here's our what are these turtles? There's a turtle. You get a couple of little critters there. Calcestus, without the
Yeah, he's looking a little less. He's looking a little less suspicious in this particular.
yeah, he doesn't have the big handlebar mustache.
No, I don't know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
that was. I don't know what that was.
I don't either. So here's Han Solo. It's a real good Black Series Han Solo figure.
That
And
face sculpt is
then,
pretty okay.
yeah, it's I like it. It's all good. Then here's a new Chewie, which I don't know why we need another Chewie, but there's another Chewie.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then the Dash Rendar.
Very cool.
Yeah, he looks great. And then here's our vintage collection Marin. So we saw the Black Series Marin above. The vintage collection Marin, again, it's hard to tell any downscale from going to a smaller
Yeah,
figure. He
they did a
looks
good
great.
job. Yeah.
And I'm a fan of Marin. I've read a book that she's in. I know she's in the game. She's a really good character. Would love to see her make it to live action at some point.
Oh, look at this guy.
Look at this guy.
Yes.
I like the bazooka. Like that. This guy here, he's got a rocket launcher. And then from a Mandalorian, we get here we've got Moff Gideon Dark Trooper armor with a soft goods cape. That looks fantastic. Looking forward to see that. Then here's
very cool.
Yes. We had Cobb Vanth before, but it was sort of weird. Like the armor, the Boba Fett armor, some of it is like attached and you can't like remove pieces. It was super odd. Like you can take the Boba Fett armor off, but you can't take the gas line that goes down to the flamethrower. You couldn't remove that. It was weird. So now you get a Cobb Vanth, like, civilian Cobb Vanth. Looks great. But this one comes on a Boba Fett card, not.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. And then here we go.
Look at that. That is cool. I like
this.
that.
This is the headliner. This really is. We've got a bantha with fur. It's not the plastic, fake whatever. It looks great. The painting on it's great. I saw some vintage collection reviews of it already. This is, I think it's the perfect bantha for vintage collection. Something I think a lot of collectors are going to be very excited to get. And then our first vintage collection, Bad Batcher. You get Crosshair. And then that's it.
And now somewhere online, I saw someone was showing off a Krennic in his dress uniform. I don't know if it was vintage. I don't know if it was Black Series. I guess it was. It must have been at the Hasbro panel. I would have assumed.
Yeah,
but
I saw that too. And they said they saw it outside in a display, but that has not been revealed.
Got it.
Yeah. And then I thought we would just go through this kind of quickly because let's see. No, this isn't what I want. This is Andor. I wanted to go through the schedule because they're 13 hours ahead.
Step and fetch it. No, we're not going to go back into all that. I'm just chuckling.
I know. It's so crazy. But we had the Mando Grogu panel. When we've talked about that extensively. The Hasbro panel, we just saw that. Lucasfilm Publishing. Now we haven't talked about this, and it kind of flew under the radar. I haven't heard anybody talking about it at all today. All the oxygen is going to animation and of course the movie announcements, but absolutely nothing at all got traction out of the publishing. So I found an article, and I think it'll become clear why there's not a lot of traction. We have a book from ILM, 50 Years of Innovation. That's a nice coffee table kind of collectible for fans. And then here's Doug Chang, the Star Wars Legacy and the Cinematic Legacy. Some art books here that are fantastic. Art of Andor in there. But then we get High Republic, Trials of the Jedi by Charles Soule. This cover, I like that it continues from the front to the back. And it's just, I love this Charhound and Bell Zettifar. I don't see Bell on here. Bell is, this must be him way back here. He's African-American kind of black guy. He's back there, but this is great. The Trials of the Jedi, some artwork there. Master of Evil, which leaked like last week. And then we have.
So one thing about Master of Evil, interesting, there seems to be an interesting bunch of things sort of swirling together, and I think you mentioned this as well in regards to the realm of Star Wars horror. And the only reason why I wanted to stop here a moment on this is, if you think in the way back file, there was a little bit of a tidbit of a story of one of the famous directors. I think he was a Japanese director, but somebody asked or he was a horror director. Somebody said, if you had an opportunity to make a Star Wars horror series, what would you do? And he said, I would love to do a series of short stories or vignettes about what's going on in Darth Vader's mind. You know, how he's being tormented and what his thoughts are and all these things. Then this comes out, then we hear Tony Gilroy saying, oh, I think they're already doing a horror movie. Then Hayden's out and about. I think there are some things potentially coalescing together around this that people might be very excited about if it all means anything.
I'd be very excited to see what may come of it, because this cover alone, like that's a horror poster, horror movie poster right there, right?
Yeah.
All you have to do is make a movie. There you go, done. Right? So,
Yeah.
it looks great. Really anxious to read it and find out if it meets that kind of criteria. It could be fantastic. We have some Acolyte coming into. Now, we already knew there was some like prequel Acolyte stuff with Venestra Rowe and things like that. But here we get an actual spoiler alert. They're both dead.
Oh, yeah. Just keep going.
Lots of holes. He's got a broken neck. Yeah. For High Republic. And I've been a general fan of the High Republic overall. Some hits, some misses, some I've enjoyed, some I haven't. And then a bunch of comics. We've got a range here from this. Mostly, this is a sequel era for the most part. Unsure about this one. This one's there's BB-8, so that's going to be
Hyperspace Stories. Yeah.
This is all sequel era. Jedi Knights. There's going back to look here. How great is that?
He was speaking last night from the stage. He was Ahmed Best made his appearance.
Legacy of Vader continues with some more Kylo Ren stuff.
Yeah, I saw this new Ren. Somebody was talking about this new Ren character. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah, redhead, right there.
Yeah,
it's good. So there's a lot of publishing coming out. We've got the Art of the Acolyte.
Yep.
There. So a good bit coming from the publishing panel. So I just thought I would go through it kind of quickly. I hadn't heard anything about it this morning.
I know the one clip that I see going around on Twitter today, I thought of you immediately. It's some publishing guy who's trying to be cheeky, and he said, "Have you ever heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise?" Totally butchers the name, Darth Plagueis the Wise. I wanted to find it and send it. I was like, Santa, please help this man. Please help this man understand your favorite novel. He doesn't even know how to pronounce it. Poor thing.
Oh, if only the book told you the story of the title character. I've read it like 3 times. I still don't know the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. I know all about the book.
I'm told it takes at least 5 readings for that secret to reveal
That's
itself
my
to you,
problem.
Santa.
I
Yes.
see. You're an evil, evil man. You. Then we had Star Wars Visions, Light and Magic, which again released. I want to get to what's coming up today. The animation panel. We've talked about that.
Speaking of animation, I saw a little something somewhere that says they're releasing Rebels for free 1 episode at a time on Friday on YouTube Kids, on the
How
YouTube
about
Kids
that?
channel now.
Well,
And I
then-
think, yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned YouTube Kids. I know they're coming out with another season of that prequel era.
Tales the Jedi. No.
No.
A Jedi, something about a Jedi.
What
Young
is-
Jedi Adventures.
Young Jedi Adventures. That's
Yeah,
it.
I knew there was a
Yeah.
Jedi involved.
Yeah, Young Jedi Adventures. Season 3 of that's coming out. So that's good. Today, starting at 9 p.m.
9 Eastern. 9 Eastern.
9 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. Andor, a Star Wars story. We're going to get to that here next. Then Ahsoka. A lot of people are excited, maybe getting a little more detail what's coming on season 2 of Ahsoka. There's a lot of rumors out there. There's a lot of things.
I bet you a credit he tells us nothing about Ahsoka season 2 in this panel.
Well, Meg was really good about bringing up. He mentioned something on the stage about when he gets back to London or England, they're going to start filming season 2, and Meg, I think, rightfully called out that's a lie. I think he's already. In fact, I already know. Like they've done some filming, but maybe they haven't like fully rolled into principal photography yet, or filming yet. And that's
Well,
what he's talking about.
and also without understanding when they're going to release it, maybe they shouldn't be you know what I mean? We take these things that we hear, they're going to start filming in April, and then whether they do or they don't, right? Without knowing when the thing is going to release, do they have to start now? Does it matter?
Where's the fire?
Right?
Calm down.
It's not doing anything else.
Save money on the overtime budget. Just slow down. Okay.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
So do you think here's a question for you, well, I have 2 questions. Number 1, do you think if you think about primetime, well, I guess I know the answer to this question, but when I think of primetime billing for these main panels, it's kind of the 10 a.m. Eastern their time, 10 a.m. Japan time, right when they get in there, 9 p.m. Eastern our time or thereabouts, and they're using that for Mando and Grogu and the surprise Gosling of it all. They're using it for Andor, and then they're using it for Visions. And given the locale, I could understand them wanting to give some Visions some play time. It seems to me like, and they put the animation panel at a really weird time for us, right?
Yeah.
It was like 2 or 2:30 local time.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they announce them all, and Sam Witwer is there, and you know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
like, it's like, could you not have? I really struggle with the decision behind that. And Ahsoka is similar, right? Ahsoka is at 1 o'clock local time, which is a horrible time for anyone else. Again, if you think you're getting anything there that might be worth it, I don't know. It's just, it seems like they made some really weird choices to me in how they sequence some of the more what I would consider to be noteworthy panels. And I guess my first question is, why do you think they did that?
Well, I'll add one more thing to what you were saying. Coming into Celebration, when you looked at the major panel list, the one thing we saw, and it was plain, is the animation was going to have some reveals.
Yes.
And we were super excited. Okay, we're waiting to find out what comes after the Bad Batch. What is the next thing? When there's rumors floating around, there's stuff flying around. That's where there was a lot of hype coming in, and then you don't pay it off. You put it in the middle of the night when most of us are sleeping. We wake up in the morning to get the news.
Yeah.
baffling, right? There's some things that I just don't understand when it comes to that stuff. Um, but I would guess the counter to that is, well, look what they did lead with. Um, do they put it off to do tonight? Do they put it off to do tomorrow? Like when else would they have done it?
I guess in my simple mind, I would say use your prime real estate for live action or those things that will get the widest appeal. And Visions may be in that they may have had to make a call between Visions and the animation panel, probably.
Yeah.
And so they said, well, given where we're at and all that, and the love for Visions here, we're going to do things in this way. For me, selfishly, I would have done it the opposite way, right? I would have put Visions, sometime after lunch or whatever, and people would have still shown up, and I would have put the animation panel as top billing on the third day.
I couldn't argue with that at all. Do you think we'll get more announcements and trailers?
This is going to be my second question to you in regards to Andor. Especially given the clips and everything they're dumping at, they're shooting at us left and right. Do you think we're going to get anything? Do you even think they're going to show them episodes? Do you think they're going to get more than the first 14 minutes or the extended trailer like they've been doing at the premieres here? I mean, what do you think they're going to, if anything, we're going to get out of Andor new?
Boy, they may close the doors and go ahead and show them the first episode.
Well, they would have to schedule it separately, right?
Yeah, it's
because
an
we
hour.
know, yeah.
And so maybe they do the 14 minutes that they did in the, movie theaters. But yeah, that's tough. And then I saw we got a fantastic super chat from my friend X-Wing. Good to see you, my friend. He says, a wild Risman spotted.
Indeed.
So happy to hear about my wife. Thank you so much. If Maul ever gets made, it could be cool. Well, I think it's going to get made. I get his skepticism, but I'm pretty sure with the animation side of thing, they don't have the same sort of track record of stops and starts, and they didn't announce anything else that would fill that void.
I think it's a sure thing.
I know
Kinders
one
have
other
signed on.
thing. I know one other thing from the animation front that hasn't been leaked anywhere. Also, there's some speculation about the additional tales of, and I know of at least one more. I was told, I knew about the one, we've been waiting on it forever. They just renamed it. I don't know why they renamed it. Tales of the Bounty Hunters.
Just to interject, so you don't think Maul is finished? You think they haven't started it? I mean, just because they're announcing it now doesn't necessarily. They didn't say anything about starting it, did they?
No. It's been worked on for a long time. I heard that they've been working on it for a while, going back into last year.
Sure.
But it was just kind of quiet, and then it had that code name like the Dark Times. But there was no leaks as far as until it came out a couple weeks ago that it was going to be Maul. There was nothing I heard ahead of time on that. But I know that there's another Tales of that's from what I heard it was done, but it should be in the post-production anyway, minimum. And then there's a third one that hasn't yet been announced that is in the works. So similar to this Maul that's been in the works for a long time, there's another Tales of that's in the works. I just don't know, where it is in the scheme of things.
I think it's probably a pretty safe bet that whether it's the one that's done from a Tales of perspective or whether it's a new one, it seems likely next May the 4th we will get another Tales of, right? What I caution is I really, unless they're just being silly, right? I really don't see them surprising us with another Tales of between this May the 4th and the next May the 4th. I don't see a reason why they would do that.
I'm glad you raised that because we mentioned after May, then what? Well, I would expect it's a kind of a given. You're going to get a Lego special, holiday special sometime in the late summer, fall, winter. So between May and December, there'll be another Lego special. Visions is going to come in somewhere in there.
I think Visions is this year now that I'm recalling, right? I think
Yeah,
Visions is a 2025 release. So there
yeah.
is
I mean,
something else. I forgot about Visions.
right. But um, then there's another, boy, oh boy, there's another animation thing that I'm aware of. I'm not at liberty to talk about, but I'm waiting to hear that one. And it has the potential to excite me tremendously if they would come out and announce it. Since they didn't do it yesterday, they're holding off for something else. And I know you've been hazing me about it, but the John Boyega announcement is imminent. I
Well,
don't know what they're waiting on there either.
and don't forget, they have D23 events. They have shareholder events. Disney has other non-celebrate. I'm not saying this makes sense necessarily, but Disney has other non-celebration related events that are fan focused, very specifically D23, where they do like to announce things. So it's not like they have, and of course, like just like with Ahsoka season 2, the Star Wars team put it on a web page. That's how that got announced, right? There was no fanfare at all. It was just, here's a drawing, we're doing this. So it doesn't even, you know what I mean? It doesn't even mean there has to be an event, I guess, for them to announce things. But thinking more critically about it, for D23 or some of these other things where they have a large fan base convened, they could announce another animated thing. Are we going to, how many animated things do they want to give us in a year, though, right? Does that mean it doesn't come until 2027? Maybe then they don't
Yeah,
announce it until 2026. You know, it all comes down
yeah.
to sequencing.
I, I think Dave said something about it in one of the interviews I was reading, that they're talking about they have some movie plans that are out there.
Hmm.
You know,
Crazy, or he said some crazy, something like there's crazy. He used a word that a descriptor an adjective that I thought was interesting. I think he said crazy, or
yeah, yeah,
yeah, we're working on some crazy things or something like that, which
yeah.
again lends credibility to me on this whole horror thing specifically. Um,
X-Wing's been missing for a minute. He's
he
missed.
doesn't know about
Peanut.
he doesn't know you actually have a parrot.
Yeah, he doesn't know about Peanut, right?
Yeah,
He's missed Peanut back there. She's
yeah.
she's just chilling out, hanging out here. It's nap time. Chilling bird. Huh? So
Uh, pl-
yeah,
uh,
that's Peanut. She's an 18-year-old African gray. But Joshua, any panels you're excited for today? And so let's go through these again real quick. So
and by the way, Santa, I have asked you multiple times to address the parrot by its proper name, Oshamir. Please, please, this peanut business, it's enough. It's enough.
Coach, if you're watching, see, see, this is what I'm saying. This guy. Oh Lord, help me. I would say, who gave you the link to be here? But
Yeah, I mean, you have no one to, you have no one, so what can I say? I
we have
just clicked.
Andor, Ahsoka, and then there's some art department stuff. The Stars of Star Wars. This might be the next, and this is what I was thinking of beforehand. The Stars of Star Wars, 2:45. So we're talking 1:45 in the morning for
Yeah.
us here in the East Coast. Vanessa Marshall. She hosts a conversation with Mads, Manny, and Sam. Now, these are all live action Star Wars, like more current stuff.
Sam's, I mean, Sam's been in Stormtrooper armor, right? Has Sam ever had a live action role as Sam? An
Well,
unhelmeted live action role?
this is a good question
I don't
because
think he has. Not yet, anyway.
Ahsoka season 2, there's a big rumor out there that he is going to
Oh, that he could
be
be the son, right?
doing the role of the son.
So that would be his first time.
That if they indeed use him,
Yeah,
or they just use his voice with somebody else.
sure.
That's the question. So this could be interesting because it comes a little bit after the Ahsoka, right? At 1 to 2. This is 2:45. Might we get something about him being in Ahsoka, it's some kind of confirmation. I would say probably not, but it would be the first chance
Sure.
to say, "Hey, guess what? I'm going to be in Ahsoka season 2." Make everybody go crazy and maybe get some more information about that. But,
I'm a huge Sam Witwer fan. He just helped them do a unification Star Trek thing where he appeared beautifully as a young William Shatner as James T. Kirk from the original series. That was Sam Witwer doing that work and just learning I'm a huge Sam Witwer fan, and I know he's such a huge proponent and always has been of the franchise. I would just love to see, and I'm not diminishing his roles. I mean, he's iconic as Maul, right? And some of the rest of this, I'm not at all diminishing his contributions to the franchise because they have been so numerous. I would just love to see him do it in live action.
yeah, absolutely. Peanut's a parrot? Well, an African gray parrot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I'm also excited about that panel, Santa, the one you mentioned. It's not that I'm not. I'm super excited about Andor. Generally speaking, there won't be anything that happens at the panel, one way or the other, that makes me more excited for it. Secretly, I'm hoping they screen all 3 episodes for them and then they drop it earlier than the 22nd because they've been known to do that.
Yeah.
Even though every bit of marketing says they'll put Diego in a clip and they'll say, "Oh, surprise, it's early."
Yeah, in 15 minutes, it's going on Disney Plus.
Just like
Like,
you,
what?
just like you, and they're like, "Ewan, go out there and tell him it's now." And he's like, "Oh, here I go again." I just told him it was delayed. Now it's now. Do you remember that? And Kathy was like, "Just put it out already," and then it showed up at 8:00. I was like, "What are you doing?"
Guys, we just released another animated series. I can tell you about it. I saw that in the comment above, right? Like they announced these things like here it is, right? They're going to announce the next animated thing. It'll be some random Tuesday in the middle of August or something, 10:23 in the morning. Yeah, you just it'll leak on Twitter. Hey, there's a new animated series on what? Yeah, it's already on Disney Plus. What?
And the teaser will just be KK cackling, "Gotcha again!"
Oh, crazy. Okay, then of course the last day of Celebration, there's a few things coming up. It's volume 3 of Visions. They'll get to see that, and this is where they might actually say, you know what, here you go, and just release it. But I don't expect it. Walt Disney Engineering. Here's The Mandalorian and Beyond. Again, it's a possibility they could announce another. It says right behind the scenes of Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and more. Possibility that more could be anything or nothing, right? We just never know with them. The Fett family, Jango and Boba, they left out Omega. I don't know why. I mean,
oh Lord, health. So do you think that there has been speculation, and it's just speculation? Do you think Tem's going to say anything about Book of Boba Fett 2, or you think it's just truly going to be him and Daniel Logan, living it up, reminiscing, telling about how much they enjoyed playing the roles?
Boy, there's think and want, right? I think it'll just be reminiscing, talking about how great it was, and but how great would it be to come out of that with a surprise announcement of we're going into Book of Boba Fett 2. Filming begins in October, something like that. How great would that be?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen, but
I don't know.
like Book of Boba Fett, I will say, is one of the series in retrospect and in comparison to what else we've gotten that for me has aged better than I expected it would in regards to what I think about it. Even though I'm still not happy with the Tusken treatment and the Pikes and the silliness of it all, the series did have some heart. It made us laugh, I think, in a way that was a little bit more kind-hearted than some of the other series has made us laugh since then. And I just love him playing that character, and I know he loves playing it even more than I love seeing him play it. I would just wish he would get a chance to do that again.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate reality of live action Star Wars on Disney Plus. And I gave Meg a little bit of a hard time last night, but the issue is that the cost benefit is not there, right? The ROI does not exist to
Yeah.
do live action Star Wars in the quality that it demands with the viewership. There's just not there. So a Book of Boba Fett 2, a Kenobi 2, anything else after Ahsoka season 2, I just don't see a probability. I know there's a little bit of a chance that Mandalorian would go back to Disney Plus, but that feels like, at least speculation is that if the movie does poorly,
Mm,
if the movie does well, then it will continue to release in that sort of fashion, like
sure.
just standalone movies from time to time. So we have that. I want to get to the Andor predictions game, and I
And
know,
just before, as we move to Andor, there's one thing I just wanted to say about an interview I read with Tony Gilroy on the point you just made. I think we were much closer to them canceling Andor season 2 than anyone realizes. Because there have been a couple of interviews where he has said very clearly, you will never see television like this again. You know, Bob Iger, if it wasn't for Bob Iger, we would not have made Andor season 2. I really think they were going to cancel it.
yeah, I just go back. It doesn't. I've said this about some of the shows, like I didn't hate the Acolyte to the level that a lot of people did. I enjoyed the bulk of it, but love it or hate it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, it's the ROI. And it's
Hmm.
that with Andor. And to exactly this point, Andor season 2 could be the greatest thing ever and get everybody hyped, everybody excited, but they will never be able to do that again. And with Ahsoka season 2 coming, that's going to be a loss leader. I don't see a way that that makes money. Even being Ahsoka and a fan favorite to some degree. I just don't know how they get enough subscriptions, enough eyeballs on it, enough hype and excitement to make it worth continuing to do live action on Disney Plus.
And neither Ahsoka nor Andor, as much as we might love them, sells merch. People are not buying. Somebody showed me a Cassian Andor. There was a new K2SO and Cassian Andor hot toys.
Yeah,
They look fantastic. I'm like, no one's buying those. I hope they don't make too many, right? I mean, people are not clamoring for a Cassian Andor hot toy, right? And that's
yeah,
so on your point, if you don't have any supporting opportunities to make money, you can't spend. They spent over $300 million on Andor season 2. Think about
right,
it.
right, exactly. And I just don't know how you get. I mentioned earlier, stagecraft and the volume have changed the dynamics, and George Lucas realized that he was working on a similar kind of project in his garage, famously, right? Where he wanted to be able to do like blue screen stuff in his garage, or on a small scale, in a smaller uh, studio. So he was working that kind of idea. Now we have stagecraft, but they found the limitations of it, right? They hit the wall of that, and it became kind of obvious and um, distracting.
Yeah.
It hasn't yet gotten to the point where it would feel like they could do more or less. At this point, it just hasn't gotten that far. It brought them a long way. It certainly changed the game in a lot of ways, but it still doesn't get the cost benefit to be able to do an entire series inside of a stagecraft volume in a way that's going to pay off. Right? I just don't see it. Maybe 10 years from now, maybe something like that. But
I'm totally with you. Well, I know I could talk to you for longer than you have time. So let's get to the game because I know you have to get
we
back to
do.
work.
So we've got Andor coming up, and we're going to do the game differently. And I know we've got folks here that haven't seen yet what the plan is. I saw Meg ask, "Are you going to do this?" And then Nerd Mafia was asking, "What are you going to do?" So we're doing this as a bit of a bingo style thing. Andor happens to be the same number of letters as bingo. So it's an Andor, and you'll get a chance to come in and fill out. Uh, this is the last preview. This is our mock-up version. I will put this in and release it probably Monday for people to do their actual predictions. Actually, I may do it later today.
Yeah, sure.
But the way this works is like normally, you got to tell us who you are. But then there are a series of 52, I think is my latest count, 52 options of what is going to happen in this 3-episode arc. And you pick 24, you get the free bingo, free spot in the middle. So 24 fill in the blanks of these 52. And you can just check them. When you start checking, you'll see this red box goes around the outside. And as you go, once you have gotten the minimum number, it'll turn the red box will go away, and then it won't let you pick any more. Or if you pick any more, it'll turn red again.
And 24 is the magic number, right? 24?
24. You have to get 24 answers. When you fill it out, then submit. It comes into and Google does this. It comes into a response, and you see the responses. They come directly into this form. When they come in this form, there's this is where Risman's been accusing me of cheating. Right? There's there's a formula on here. It's called split. Right? This formula split takes all of these answers that you gave and turns them into columns across the way. And then the part I left out is every time this form is opened, it reshuffles the order of these options. So you'll see like this is Imperial Officer, Blue Milk, Yavin Base. If I refresh, it comes up now. It's U-Wing, Mothma, Kyber Crystals, Y-Wings. And so every time it's going to be randomized. Right? So your answers will be in a different order as my answers. So even if you pick the same 24 that I picked, your bingo card, your Andor card, is going to be laid out differently because yours will split across the way. And then when it fills out the card, this is
Cool.
column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, right? So it will just fill out your card for you. And then I can send you your card. You can watch the show knowing, am I getting a bingo or not, right? Am I getting an Andor or not? And you can follow along. Then there's again a bunch of hidden stuff over here. It's there's
doing all your calculations.
Yeah, the calculations are being this is a if, v lookup, and yes and false, all this kind of stuff, right? So it does the math. So during our watch party, it won't be a watch party so much, it'll just be a review and discussion. We will go through, did this thing happen?
Yeah.
Right? A conversation takes place on screen in hyperspace. And if I say yes, right? A scene in Luthen's shop, right? And I say yes. We'll just go down the way saying yes or no, right? Yes and no. I can put a no in here just for fun. Yes. No. Right. Now I can just keep going. Yes, no. Oops.
Uh-oh.
New York. No.
Not gonna like that.
No. So we just go down the way. Now I'll just do a bunch of yeses. So we'll do our review. We'll talk about the episode. And now look what happens. All I did is fill in these yes, nos. If we go over to the cards.
So
look,
cool. Yeah.
It's already filled in for you. Right. So we won't have to review, who got a, bonus questions or not. Well, that's all we'll do. We'll see who got bonus questions. And when you go through here, it already has scored the ones that you got right. So, right? So
And in the context of bingo, bonus means across or down or
across,
diagonal, right?
correct. Absolutely correct. So it will score all of the boxes you got correct. The bonus will be, as you just said,
Any bingos.
any bingos, right? So we'll just go through and see, did anybody get, a straight line, diagonal, or straight across, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you will get your bonus points based on any. Let's see, just out of curiosity, did any of these actually line up?
You were
See,
perfectly unlucky, but that is bingo, isn't it?
it is.
That
It
really is
is,
bingo.
which is great. And then when you go, oh, look who showed up.
What's
Word's
up,
gotten out.
What's up, loser? That's my buddy
So,
John.
yeah, yeah, good to see you, John. Thanks for stopping over. I mean, and then it will have already tabulated your points over here as well, right?
Nice.
So it will automatically do all the math for us. All we have to do is go through the answers and say yes and no, go through the cards and see any bonuses, and then we'll know the points at the end. So, and then Risman brought this up last week that should you get a card that you really like, you're like, this card is the best card, right? I want to keep it. Then the second week, we'll add a question to the top of the survey that'll say, let me keep my previous card. If you say that, then you'll skip over this question, submit it, and I will just port over your questions from the last one.
That's a very bingo thing to do, right? I love my card. I don't want a new card. I want this
No,
card. This is the card I want. I want this
exactly.
card.
And so we'll go through our breakdown review and just go through the answers and see if the thing happened. If it did, then you can follow along. Plus, as these come in, I will screenshot them and send them to you so that while you're watching, you'll know how your questions lined up. You'll know, did I do it or did I not? My only thing I've been struggling with a little bit, and I think I just have to draw the line somewhere, is how do I get your card to you? Right? Like,
Because you don't ask for an email address on submission.
right. Right.
Hmm.
I have the option, I suppose, of saying, deliver my card to, and then you put like Discord, Twitter, X, email.
Well, there's a couple ways I think you can ask us. Well, then they wouldn't see the card. The easiest option is if people want to see their cards, they join. They join the Discord, and it's they communicate their Discord name to you, and the card comes.
I
I
think
would
that's
say
the
I don't have a personal email problem, but I know some people don't. Some people I get it. Some people are a little squishy about giving out emails or what
Yeah,
have
I
you.
understand that too. So I think Discord is the best way. That's how I'm inclined to do it. So yes, Jedi Mike, thank you for that. You give us so that's the first question is going to say what's your name or identity? There's where you would give us your Discord name, whether it's Jedi Mike or whatever the case might be. Then we'll be able to fill it out. Risman was very smart to get me to start thinking about, because we know some of you all. We know who you are.
The rules. The rules. We need the rules.
There are rules.
Yeah.
Some of you will say, well, wait, what if I fill out 5 bingo cards? Because that's another bingo thing to do.
Multiple
Right?
cards.
You got to have more than one card. So what if I have 5 cards? Can I get the best of the 5? No, you cannot. Each one is its own individual card. So let's say you have Jedi Mike 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If Jedi Mike 4 does extremely well in week 1, and you go to week 2, and Jedi Mike 4 does poorly, then the Jedi Mike 4 accumulates the points. You don't get, claim the best one.
Right.
So that's you get one card. You can get as many as you want, but that one card will carry over. If you say in week 1, you say, all right, got Jedi Mike 1 through 4. Week 2, you just have Jedi Mike 1 and 2. Well, 3 and 4 are not going to get any points because you didn't do a card for them, right? The other thing that we talked about is, okay, the first time a thing happens.
First time, first occurrence. Yeah.
The first time something happens is the first time it happened. So, or let's say you pick Grand Moff Tarkin appears. Well, let's say Tarkin is in all 3 episodes.
Mm.
Do I get a credit for each episode? Because, I mean, he showed up 3 in all of them.
Yeah.
No, the answer is no. You get 1 point. You get the credit for you saw him. If he shows up in 1 episode or all 3 episodes, counts the same. The same with Star Wars slang is used. Well, I heard this and this and this and this. Okay, great. That's a instance there. It counts for that credit. Now, I do have one question based on the preview we saw. Cassian's in that TIE fighter.
Yes.
He's blasting the daylights out of all those troopers.
Indeed.
How did they die? Did they die by blaster fire? I mean, blaster, I think of a pew pew, right?
They definitely died by laser fire.
Right. Laser cannon. Right?
Yeah, because they are called laser cannons, right? Traditionally we use blaster in a handheld format. So if we want to put in a question that says characters die by ship fire, or we can fix this problem, right? So if we want to give, because we know it happens in the spoiler alert, it happens in the first 3 episodes, right? So
right,
if you're doing a little bit of reading, you know what to put on your first card, by the way, because there are definitely some things we know are happening in the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, like dudes are going to get shot by a TIE fighter. So what do we? I mean, how do
someone is killed? Somebody is killed is a pretty safe bet for the first 3 episodes. At least somebody is killed.
At least, I mean, probably all 9 episodes, or I mean, 12 episodes. You're probably safe.
But I would say blaster means pew pew. In handheld. Yeah. But again, if you want to add something that talks about air to ground destruction. I mean, although
I think we have to add something on there.
Although Cassian couldn't even get the thing. It happens. We get older. Getting it up is a problem. But he's just putting it back down. He's having a little bit of problem with the controls. Right?
I can see problems coming by saying somebody dies by laser cannon because you say, but what? Okay, so the X-wing shot the TIE fighter. The TIE fighter blew up. Does that count by laser cannon? Or I'm like, So, but I think we just go with the generic. Someone is killed, not blaster fire.
Yes.
Right. So then that's covered. Right. Someone is killed, not blaster fire. So they get squished between 2 large objects. It's fine. They get blown up in space. Fine. They get shot by Cassian Andor in that TIE. Same thing. Right.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. Well,
but they get massacred in Gorman. That's happening. So people are dying, and blasters are firing, right? Yes. So you have a little. You got a twofer on that one, right? You got two.
Well, if it's not blaster, right? Somebody is killed, not.
Well,
blaster.
I mean, someone's throwing it. Looked like someone threw a bomb,
a grenade.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
So killed by ordnance and killed by blaster, and who knows? Who knows what else is going to happen?
I like not there. Someone is killed, not blaster fire. I love that as a response because that covers it, and I don't have to then fight with Skywalker's Academy and Star Wars politics over the point. Right.
And we may yet see someone land a starship on those poor folks. Right. Don't count it out yet. I mean, it sounds like Krennic's got it in for them, right? So, I mean, something's going to happen. Some bad things are happening in that Gorman massacre. That's why it takes so many episodes.
This guy is the reason we're having this discussion. Right.
Yeah, and politics, who's never comes to any of the help sessions, just comes to bitch later. Not here to hear this, but boy, he'll be here when it comes time to fill it out.
I love it. Dale is the best. He is absolutely best, and he argues his points just to argue. Which I completely respect. I love it. But
He doesn't
also
argue his points; he litigates them.
he does.
There's
He
a
really does.
difference. There's a difference.
Sometimes it's like, oh, not today, Dale. Can't do it. But I love him so much. We'll get this. I'm going to add that question, and we'll get this published later today, so that you all can begin to get them filled in. If you want 1 card, 2 cards, 5 cards, it's up to you. Make sure
Well,
you put it.
and just in case, I might recommend not filling it in until tomorrow, right? Just in case something happens tonight at 9 Eastern that might help you fill out the first card.
Exactly. And just be aware, if you fill out, say, 5 cards, you have to use a different identifier for each card. Otherwise, have no idea of telling which card is which again is another way for you guys to argue with me. Look, they're all the same, or to try to pull the wool over my eyes. Be like, no, that third one is actually goes with number 2, and you're like, your order's wrong. No, we're not doing that. So you have to use a different identifier for each card. So I could put Star Wars Santa 1, Star Wars Santa 2, Star Wars Santa 3. Whatever the case might be, if I want to have more than 1 card. Have we covered the bases? Have we covered our rule benders?
I think so. I think that was the main thing: was multiple submissions, submit on time, first occurrence, first occurrence, first scene.
Multiple occurrences of the same thing. I think we covered the bases, and even if you know the answers, the sort order of the answers, how they come in, will be different. So will it line up for you to get bonus points or not? We don't know. Depends how they line up. But now that you know how your first is top to bottom, the one on top will go top left in your card. The next one goes 2, 3, 4, 5, then goes to row 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, 12, skip, 13, 14, and then 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and then lastly 20 through 24. So if you want to count down the blocks and see, do I like the order of this? Nope, we'll shuffle, right? Just refresh your page until you have the order that you think is best for you. Fill it in, send it in, and we'll get it to you on Discord. If you're not on Discord, you'll get to watch it after the fact, and you'll get to see how the points come out. Great. That's all I got.
I think we did it. I think we did it.
Matt, thank you so much. I had a great time talking with you. Like you said, I could keep going.
And I had a great time, and I know you were a little nervous because sometimes I'm not on my best behavior, but listen, I told you there wasn't going to be any mention of Kathleen Kennedy's thongs and the new pair that you have. We weren't going to talk about Cyril and Dedra's sexy time and turning out the lights, and we didn't.
Oh.
We didn't talk about any of those things. And so you were worried for nothing. You were worried for nothing.
You threw in the Oceanmere earlier too, by the way.
Did I? How clumsy of me.
So terrible. What a terrible Coach was concerned that I wasn't getting the same amount of abuse that he is. I assure you that I do. Yeah.
Well, but listen, we did get through the whole stream without one Ray delay. Could you imagine? Even though they brought out Ryan Gosling and any other person they could to avoid talking about that movie. Certainly doesn't mean it's delayed further. Oh. Absolutely not.
Good Lord. Oh, what's the name of Calrissian's boring brother? Did you know that Lando had a twin?
I didn't know this.
Yeah, Lando's twin, Blando.
Kind of goes with Blandor, right? A lot of people are looking forward to Blandor. Here's old Blando Calrissian. I mean, he likes to watch it as well.
Oh, well, thank you all so much. Thank you, Matt. We'll have to do it again sometime. And
My
I know
pleasure.
the EBN streams on Thursday nights are past my bedtime a lot of times, but anytime I can get on there, I would be happy to.
You have an open invite, and we appreciate you watching on the rewatch. Really do.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy the weekend of celebration. We'll be back next week. But don't forget to fill out your Andor cards, and we'll do our watch.
And to those who celebrate, happiest of Easter. Today is a good day in many ways, is it not?
It is.
For those who celebrate. So always
Yes.
just wanted to put that out there.
I
Just wanted to put
appreciate that.
out there.
Yes. Happy Easter to those who are celebrating this Sunday. Good Friday today. I know many people have taken the time off work and celebrate that differently than I do. Good Friday's not been a big holiday for me, but for those that have celebrated, I hope that this weekend is great. You're able to spend some fantastic family time together. And as we were talking about on EBN last night, we can argue about things, we can disagree about things, but that doesn't mean we have to take it in a personal direction and belittle somebody because their opinions are different than ours. And some of the things that I've tried to stand for here on my channel, I know it's something that is very important to the folks over at EBN and other places. So that's what makes this community great. And I just want to, again, say how thankful I am for the friends that I've made through this channel, all the prayers and all the support, all the love as my wife was going through the cancer scare and the cancer surgery. It was more than a scare. I mean, she had breast cancer. But look, this community's been fantastic to be able to have friends around the world, across this country, north and south. All those barriers that we draw up are broken down when you get to the point of we just love Star Wars, and we can have this thing to come together, and just tremendous people, tremendous people in this community. So thank you all. Thanks again, Risman. And you guys, until next time, my friend. Merry Christmas. May the force be with you always.
Ray delay.